This conference will now be recorded.
All right, welcome everybody to the Town of Darien Sewer Commission meeting regular agenda of Tuesday, December 1st. We're calling the meeting to order at 4:32 p.m. by remote video conference only. Looks like everybody currently on the call is identified, which is good. We'll ask that you simply keep yourself muted until your item comes up on the agenda. We're going to handle our minutes first, which should be discussed with fairly quickly. Did you search the document for Hutchinson?
I did not, but I believe Penny did.
Looks good.
There's one on page 2 at the top.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah.
Page 2 at the top.
Yeah.
Where?
Or is that, oh, page 1.
Page 1?
Yeah, page 1 at the top, sorry.
Yes, it's in the motion part, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry again, Reese.
No, not at all.
For the commission's information, I did not do the minutes. I'm not trying to get out of anything, but unfortunately, Penny made a number of edits, which for some reason didn't show up in red like they normally do. Just to make you aware of that.
You know, I think you need to hide one Hutchinson in there each time just to make sure we're reading these things.
Page 3 of 10, you had a he should be a she in item number C there. Barbara Schaefer was present to discuss, and it says he
Yes,
stated that repairs. That
yes,
should be a she.
pronoun from masculine to feminine. Thank you.
Yep, the only thing I saw.
Commissioners, are there any other comments? Susan?
Yes. On G, I am Mr. Cameron instead of Ms. Cameron.
Ooh.
Where are we?
It's the only- Not a big deal.
What page?
It's on page 4 of 10. G, Carey Lane.
4 of 10.
Yeah, good for you, Susan. Nice
Where
catch.
are we?
I always read the minutes.
Okay, I'm sorry, page 4 of 10, where? And what?
Right in the middle.
Right in the middle.
Item G, right in the middle.
Item G, right in the middle. And what's the correction?
Ms. Cameron.
Oh, Mr. Got it, thank you.
Do I have a motion on the minutes?
I'll make a motion we approve with tweaks.
Second on the minutes. Susan seconds.
Right.
Do I have
I'll
any
second.
further discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor, raise your hands in front of the camera or say aye.
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 All right, that's 4-0. Bob, you're muted. I have no idea how you decided to vote. Yeah, I guess you weren't here last time, so maybe you're abstained. I'll give you that.
Yeah, I'll abstain.
Sounds good. All right, we are moving on to the sewer user fee
I
appeals.
mean, I've listened to the recording a couple times, but even still,
Were you surprised at how fast we could move without you? No, that was a compliment because usually you help us with the appeal map, right? All right. 3A, 16 Fox Hill Lane, Mr. Schoonmaker, who is on the call with us now, I believe.
sorry, I missed that. It broke up.
Oh, okay. I was saying nothing but nice things about you, I promise. Mr. Schoonmaker, I believe we sent you back to give us one more month of water meter records. Is that correct?
That's correct. This is a October 27 appeal. We started the hearing on November 10th. And just as a quick recap, the sewer service charge for 2018 was $949. It was $1,000 for 2019, and it went up to $3,432 for 2020. And the cause of that were two flappers that have subsequently been fixed on two different toilets in the house, and attached to the October 27 letter of the appeal is an invoice showing payment for the flappers. I was sent back to bring an updated aquarium bill, because the aquarium bill I had was through October and it still had high water usage from watering the lawn probably. And I can hold it up. I sent a PDF to Penny, but it may have gone out after I don't know if it made it to you or not.
Yes, sir, we have it in the packets.
Okay, in that case, I won't hold it up. It just shows that the water usage went way down in November.
Yeah, it shows a market reduction. You still may be capturing the tail end of an irrigation season in late October covered by that bill, because 2,100 cubic feet is still greater than your baseline years. 17, 18, you had 1,100 cubic feet of usage. 18, 19, you had 1,300 cubic feet of usage. So 21 is still a little bit high, but certainly it's a market reduction from what seems to be the leak year. So I think we have enough information to consider the appeal and assume that the plumbing fix has resolved or significantly improved the condition. We had, let's see, if we just take an average of the two baseline years, there was 7,000 cubic feet of usage in 17, 18 across 5 months, and 6,800 cubic feet of usage in 18, 19 across 5 months. So let's say that's 69 divided by 5 times 12 times our current rate, which is 655. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So I come up with a bill of $1,084.68. Is anybody interested in making a motion?
I'll make a motion on that.
All right, Peter makes a motion to grant the appeal down to $1,084 and what did I say, 68 cents?
I have a comment first.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Bob, you're on mute. Try now, Bob.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
You can hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I have a bit of an issue.
Okay.
This water was knowingly put down the sewer. And yet what we're asking is for everyone to absorb the cost for someone knowingly putting it down the sewer. I'm not going to discuss whether or not there was reason to put it down the sewer. All I'm stating is what is just the fact that it went down the sewer knowingly. And I have an issue with everyone absolving that. I think that the homeowner should absolve some of it.
Thank you for your comment, and that's noted for the record.
If everyone else is fine with it, I'll just be quiet and sit here and stew.
In my mind, and the testimony that was provided, which is represented in the minutes, is that once the pandemic started, either the plumbers or the property owners didn't immediately rush to have people in their home to fix the issue. So to me, that's a reasonable reason for delaying action on the running toilets. And I am still willing to consider the appeal. So we have a motion on the floor by Peter. Do we have a second on that motion?
I second that.
All right, so Susan raised her hand first. Sorry, Reese, she beat you.
Damn.
All right, so now, is there any discussion on the motion to grant the appeal? Hearing no further discussion, I'll ask for, let's do a roll call vote because I can only see half the folks. So we got a Peter saying yes. Susan?
Yes.
She says yes. Bob? Bob, your vote?
His mic's on.
Yeah. Reese, your vote?
No.
Yeah.
Reese, your vote?
All right,
I vote
on?
we approve it. Yes.
Okay, so I will be a yes. I've got
Says I'm on.
4 in favor, 1 opposed. I'm not quite sure, Bob, what your technical issues are. There seems to be a very long delay, but we heard your no vote. So the appeal is granted. Mr. Schoonmaker, thank you for your patience through the 2 meetings.
Thank you very much. To clarify, do I mail a check now for $1,084.68 minus the $254.53 right to the town hall?
You will get a new bill, at which time you can pay.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Schoonmaker. Mr. Chairman, before you go on, can I ask caller 5 to identify themselves?
Yes, caller 5. We have a new caller on the line in the last couple of minutes. If you could identify yourself. Is there anybody listening that hasn't provided their name to us? Yeah.
I turned on my phone.
Oh, is that you, Bob, trying to be on the phone now?
Rectify the situation without turning it off and coming back on. So does that sound better, or is there still?
Getting closer. Can you put your mouth closer to your phone? A little dim.
I could do that.
Ah, that's loud and clear.
Is that correct?
Okay.
Bob Hill is calling in on the phone.
That's correct.
Thank
All right, sewer user fee appeal 3B, 874 Boston Post Road. Mr. William Schaefer. Oh no, yeah, Mr. William Schaefer. Okay. 3B.
Yep, I'm Barbara Schaefer. I'm here for that.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you, Barbara. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Was this the same issue? We wanted another month?
Yes, it was. It was. We wanted to wait for the next bill to come.
So I'm looking at the water bill dated December 11th, 2020. And this water bill still shows 8,700 cubic feet of usage for that 1 month.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just wanting to tell you what I spoke with Penny when we looked at the bill, and I called, since it obviously wasn't the whole issue, I called Aguarian Water, and they looked up our account and told me, according to their coding system, we had a continuous flow, and that meant stuff was running that shouldn't be running. So I asked them what to do. They said to get your plumber over there and have him check out everything. We did that. The plumber, Flaherty, was there on Monday, and I believe Penny got you the new bill that he emailed me on Monday. And what they discovered was there were no problems in the other stores or in the apartments, but the Heights Pizza had 2 leaking sinks. So Flaherty, our plumber, said this could be causing our problem as well as that original leak we fixed in September. So we've ordered the parts to fix the sinks and are waiting for them to come in, but we're not going to know for sure until the next bill cycle comes in after we get that fixed. Yeah. And so
Why don't we wait another month?
That's what I would assume you would want to do, and I totally, agree with that.
Yeah, I'm just looking over the history. it looks like a normal month for you should be anywhere between 50 and 70.
Mm.
And you're getting closer.
Yeah, I know. Well, they checked out down in the basement for leaks in the boiler. They checked the toilets, the sinks, and everything. I just told them to do everything they needed to do. So, and unfortunately, we didn't get that bill in time to, get it done and get it fixed before this meeting.
Understood. And it's not quite fixed yet? They have to get a couple of parts to finish the.
They're waiting for, they ordered some stems, they said.
Yeah.
And then as soon as the stems come in, they will fix it. And I guess I should let Penny know when that happens.
Yeah, I guess I think it makes sense to table it because that'll leave the appeal active, Darren. So depending on how we decide, may waive the interest charges.
Now, should I be paying anything more than the original $250, whatever it was? I mean, do you want any payment towards this while until it gets resolved? I've never done this before, so I don't exactly know what to do.
Darren, do you have any advice on that regard? You're muted, Darren.
I don't know why a partial payment couldn't be made. Sounds like a good idea to me. It's true that usually a commission just defers it to a future meeting, but sure. Make a partial payment, we can record that.
Okay, how much do I paid? I've forgotten now what you had me pay right in the beginning. $254, I think it was. It was, I don't know, I have it in front of me. Hold on. I paid $254.63. So do you want me to bring it up another $2,000? I mean, you tell me what you want me to do.
What was the bill for the previous year? If we were using the previous
year, let's see, hold on a sec.
The previous year was about $5,000.
The total bill was around $4,000 for the previous year.
Okay, so could we assume that your current bill is going to be about that? So if you paid half of it, that would be a good way to split the baby.
Okay, so I'll send you $2,000.
Nice round number.
We'll credit whatever ends up, being left over after.
And I'll just send that to Penny.
The tax collector.
Oh, okay, to the tax collector. Okay. I will do that tomorrow.
So we're going to table appeal 3B until we have more information after the leak is fixed.
Okie dokie. And I will also let her know as soon as we get it fixed.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for your time.
Can I wait 1 minute? Can I again make a comment?
Yes, you may.
So if this is a faucet that's leaking, it's been a visible leak since August of 2019.
Not to me, it hasn't. I just own the building.
I understand that, but the issue that I'm trying to convey to you and to the viewing audience, which I hope are listening, is the fact that it doesn't matter going down the drain if it's dirty water or clean water. It costs the same amount to deal with it. In fact, clean water may be a work against the process of how the water is cleaned at the Sanford wastewater treatment plant. So I'm just voicing my opinion that when people have visible leaks, I have a problem with giving them.
I don't know if it was a visible. I don't know. My plumber found the leak, so I don't know if it was visible.
I don't know how it could be hidden.
Well, I don't know enough about plumbing. I'm sorry, I have no idea. All I know is the plumber went in and this is what he found. I don't know what else to say.
I'm just voicing my opinion as a member of the board who feels he has a fiduciary responsibility to all the other people who are paying, you know, the rate that we have set to be able to encompass all of this. So thank you for listening.
Do we have any further discussion on this item before it is tabled until the next meeting? Hearing none, I will ask that we call sewer user fee appeal 3C, 1082 Boston Post Road, Baywater 1082 BPR LLC, 1078 Boston Post Road, Baywater 1078 BPR 2LC, and Baywater 1078 BPR LLC. I think, if I recall, this is one.
Can I just interrupt to say thank you? And I
Oh, sure.
don't think I need to be on the call anymore. Is that
You do
correct?
not. Have a good evening.
Thank you. You too. Appreciate it.
Darren, do you want to take us through this one?
The commission in November looked at this item and decided that a minimum fee would apply, but we would like the commission to reconfirm that or revisit it, because it turns out that we looked at this and found out that the disconnection was prior to this billing period back in April. So we asked the commission to reconsider. This is a divergence from previous decisions that the commission has made. And,
there's two pieces of information that are very helpful here that weren't necessarily conveyed at the last meeting when we considered it. One is that it is our standard operating procedure when a property is fully disconnected from the sewers as verified through a lateral disconnect, that we take it off the sewer user fee charge rolls. So that is our normal course of business. And in this particular case, these properties being demolished are ones that are effectively going to be permanently demolished and replaced by the new Baywater project on Corbin Drive. So they really will never be back connected until the full development is connected. So with that, I agree that we should put it back on the agenda for our consideration again, and instead of charging the minimum, we do what we normally do, which is to charge nothing, since there's nothing connected. Any
Craig, do you
questions?
need a motion for that?
Yes.
All right, I make a motion that since these connections will not be reconnected, they're in essence being removed, that we assess zero.
Do we have a second on that motion? Peter seconds the motion. Do we have any discussion on the motion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor, Susan? Yes. Peter? Yes. Bob? Bob, how do you vote on 3C? Yes.
Yes.
Reese is a yes.
Yes.
Craig is a yes. That's a 5-0. Appeal is granted. 3D, 18 Pine Brook Lane, Jewett Bradley, ET, Jewett Jeffrey, trustee. Sir, you are on the phone. What is the nature of your appeal?
As you hopefully saw with the documents I sent you, my sister was living in there. We are estranged, and her toilets were running wide open, and she apparently had no knowledge of it. She has mental issues. We had an intervention in February. We had the state of Connecticut there, several agencies. She's on the Darien police radar. Darien Social Services know about her and whatnot. So in any event, you can see from the graph that the water usage spiked in January and February, actually started in December. To one of your commissioner's comments, I appreciate the water went down the sewer. What I'm asking is that you reconsider annualizing that aberrational period for the last half of the year, where in fact we did not put 150 odd thousand gallons down the sewer in the last half of the year. So I'm asking that you maybe use last year's usage for the last part of the year, or this year's actual usage. You can see from the graph through December that the usage is not even on the chart compared to what happened at the beginning of the year.
All right, thank you very much. Now, this was relatively prompt action between what you probably received in a huge Aquarian water bill, which drove you to have it addressed. And it was addressed, maybe 2 months after it started. So I would be inclined to consider an appeal using an average of the last 2 years prior, which would be 3,400 cubic feet for the 5-month period.
Yeah, I did that. It comes out to 534.48.
Is that a motion, sir?
Yes, 534.48.
A motion to grant the appeal to 534. And what was the sense? Peter seconds the motion. Any further discussion on the motion? All right, roll call vote. Susan?
Yes.
Peter?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Reese?
Yep.
And me, that's 5-0. Appeal is granted, sir.
So will I receive then a new bill or am I done for the year, or how exactly, what do I owe you for now?
Yeah, you will receive a new bill from the tax collector.
I sent you half already.
Okay, so you might receive a credit depending on how the math all comes out.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate your consideration.
Yep, have a good night, sir.
You too.
All right, item 4 on the agenda, Fletcher Development, Locust Hill Road, sewer easement discussion and action.
During the November meeting, the commission asked for town council to review the easement. We have not received that yet. We did have contact with the applicant's attorney. We also had contact with planning and zoning. No application has been made to date with regards to a request to install the foundation. If and when that happens, we think we can deal with this pretty easily, because this issue seems to be, there seems to be no other way to go except working this out amicably between the owner of the sewer and the owner of this property. The sewer is there, it's functioning, and it's not going to be moved, it's not going to be changed. It's just a matter of doing the paperwork and changing a map, which the commission has reviewed. And town council has this and is aware of it. And although we didn't get anything yet, we have no reason to believe that there will be a problem. We expect that town council will have an opinion or revisions to the easement for the January meeting. This does not appear to be holding up the applicant. Okay.
So we want to table it?
Yes. Please.
Sounds good to me. Next item on the agenda is item 5, 88 Nearwater Lane, sewer easement discussion and action. As I have for the last 2 agendas, I will be recusing myself from this item. Bob, as vice chair, I ask for you to take the gavel, and I will mute myself, turn off my camera until the matter is concluded.
If memory serves me correct, 2 months ago, we had this issue or this situation come up, excuse me, and we asked it to be sent to the town attorney to be evaluated. And I believe that that was the email that we got at like 4:20, if I stand correct, Darren. And
No, you're
if I,
absolutely correct. We apologize for the lateness. You could see from the email chain that we forwarded it within minutes that we received it. And we do our best to not give you things at the last minute, especially things that you're going to act upon. However, when we get something, we want to share it with you as fast as we can. I, in all honesty, haven't been able to pour through every detail of the letter myself, but I did have a conversation with our attorney, and I could summarize it for you, which is our attorney agrees with the findings in the title search. Our attorney agrees that the owner of 88 Nearwater is actually the owner of 88 Nearwater, and that those people have the right to pass and repass and install utilities in the access way that is the only way they can get to Nearwater Lane, else they would be landlocked. The only thing that we took exception to is that someplace in all that paperwork and all those title searches, there's some language that says that access way is somehow under the control of the town, and the Department of Public Works vehemently denies that. We don't plow it, we don't own it, we don't have a sewer in it, we don't repave it, it is not a road. There's been no evidence that the town has fee title to the property. So we deny that we have any responsibility to take care of that property. Now, I noticed that Mr. Tweedy is present and listening, who is involved in this by virtue of the fact that his name is on the map where the access way ownership is. Hi, Mr. Tweedy.
Hi.
Mr.
Yes, I own that access property. And I just would like to make the commission aware that I've talked with the new owners of 88 about the sewer line going in, and we've reached an agreement as to what he's going to do, because I have interest in it, because I own lots that could be developed that would go into the new sewer line. And I want to make sure that the new sewer line he puts in would be able to, any lots that were developed in the future, would be able to hook into it. He's agreed to that. So from my perspective, everything looks fine.
Thank you, Mr. Tweedy. If I could advise the commission that, if I could interpret what Mr. Tweedy just said, there's a big, long access. And it doesn't really make sense for the owners of 88 to dig a lateral, although our attorney agrees with their attorney that they have the right to dig out to Nearwater Lane all by themselves, but it would be a shame to dig 400 feet and put a small pipe in and then dig 400 feet again. So I guess the commission should consider what they're going to require. Now, Mr. Tweedy just mentioned that there might be more than one parcels on his property, and we know that 88 is one. So we're talking about multiple lots and multiple services, which makes sense if you're going to dig all that way. And what remains is the logistics of how to carry that out. Is it going to be one large pipe? Is it going to be a shared lateral? Is it going to be a main extension? If it's a main extension, should there be a developer's agreement? If there's a developer's agreement, then the town's going to have to take an easement and be the owner of this main extension. So I think what we have now is a legal opinion that says 88 can go forward. They can put their own lateral in if they want to. And we have a neighboring adjoining property owner who is in complete agreement with them serving their property and asks that there are provisos in place so that he can do the same thing for multiple lots in the future. Is that fair, Mr. Tweedy?
That is fair, and I've discussed that with Mr. Keogh, And I've agreed to absorb any extra cost that it would take for him to make the sewer line able to handle any future development that may be required of it.
Thank you. So the commission has their answer. I guess the next step would be what type of direction should we give to the POs as far as what direction they should take? Does the commission have a preference, or do you want them to come back to us with some ideas, some designs?
Yeah.
I mean, I would think that designs would be appropriate. I don't think we can just give them a blank check. The other thing is, how concerned should we be about the language which states that the town has some obligation to maintaining the road there? Should that be cleaned up at this time? Or did I misunderstand what you were speaking of when you first started to speak about this?
I can tell you it doesn't concern me a bit. If it snowed tomorrow, I'm not plowing it. That's easy. And
We could put that in our resolution, that in our approval, that we don't accept any responsibility. Why don't we just have them do the design and then come back?
Okay.
Is that a motion, Reese?
Yeah, that's a motion. If we need a motion, Darren, that's a motion that I would suggest they come back with the design that we can review.
Okay, do we have a second on that?
I'll second it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I believe a vote is in order. All those in favor, Reese?
Aye. Yes.
Susan?
Yes.
Peter?
Yes.
So we have a 4-0 vote with Craig abstaining.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, I cede the mic back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. All right, item 6 on the agenda says addition of sewer users to billing file and back charges. There were a handful that need to be corrected. How's that going?
Let's see. Penny included the spreadsheet in the back of your package, item 6, 1 of 1. And that gives you the status. We're just coming back to you to tell you the progress we made and where we have fallen short thus far. You can
So
see
five out of 8 of them that need to be resolved, we have confirmed that they are not connected. 3 out of 8 we're still working on.
3 out of 8, yes. Haven't heard back, so yes.
Sounds good.
That's
item 7. That's a mouthful. Flat condominium or multiple unmatched user fee. Discussion and comments from commissioners.
What does it mean?
Yeah. Thank you.
this is a vestige from a previous meeting. I'm not really sure the commission needs to take any action on this. It was discussed and the commission asked that we bring it up again. Let's see.
Oh, we had just received that large master document that attempted to separate and classify multi-family residential buildings where you might have more than one residential tenant in a single building. We found after going through the data that it just wasn't that simple. Condos were categorized in different ways, even if they were single family and not attached. And there were far more situations and just numbers of properties that had that condition than we had first imagined. Yeah, and from the minutes we're saying it was good information, but since we just got this, we'll give ourselves a month to look it over and ask any further questions that we might have on the data provided. So with that, the commissioners, do you have any further questions or comments about the data provided? Hearing none, I will leave it up to staff to continue to clean their lists as they have always done.
Yes. Thank you. That I think what you were talking about two things there, just for the record. One of them was we went through the building classifications based on a question of how many apartments there might be in town or downtown, in the downtown area. And there was also the flat condominium or multiple unmatched user fees, but I think what you said applies.
Yeah. All right. So we can close this item for the next agenda. It doesn't need to be carried forward unless there's something that comes up that you think deserves our attention.
Thank you.
All right, item 8 on the agenda, something we should do every year, but it's been more than a year since we've done it, which is election of officers for the new year. We technically are required to have 3 officers, I believe, a chairman, a vice chairman, and a secretary. Taking them in order, do we have any nominations for chairman for 2021?
I would nominate Craig, that you, if you're willing, be chairman for another year.
Thank you for giving me the option. I am willing.
I'd second that.
Peter gives a second. All right, we have a motion to nominate me as chairman for 2021. Any further discussion on the motion? Susan, roll call. Yes,
I agree.
Peter, your vote?
I agree.
Yes. Bob, your vote? Bob, your vote on the motion?
Yes, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. Reese, your vote on the motion?
Yes, with gratitude.
All right, I'm going to abstain just because it feels weird to vote for yourself, so 4-0. All right, second up is Vice Chairman for 2021. Bob has served well in that position over the last year or so. Do I have a motion?
I'll move Bob as vice chair.
All right, do I have a second? Maurice, you have a second. Bob, you are willing to serve?
Yes.
All right, we have a motion to nominate Bob as vice chair for 2021. All those in favor, Susan?
Yes.
Pete? Yes. Reese?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Bob, would you like to vote for yourself?
I'll abstain.
Okay, 0. And secretary, I'll nominate Mr. Van Winkle to continue to serve as secretary, assuming he is willing.
I would.
I'll second that.
Reese gives the second. I am a yes. Susan?
Well, wait a minute. Reese is the secretary.
Oh, Reese is secretary?
Or
According to the letterhead.
Oh, you're right. We don't want to change the letterhead, do we? I'm sorry, Peter. All right. I agree, Susan. Let's nominate Reese and not change the letterhead.
I'll make that motion.
All right. Pete, do you want to second it just so there's no hard feelings?
I'll second.
Pete second. All right. Bob?
Yes.
Reese, wait. Reese, are you voting for yourself?
I'm abstaining, but I admire the fiscal responsibility.
Yeah. I'll vote yes too. All right, 4-0. That's item number 8. Thank you very much. Item number 9, superintendent's report.
Somebody's tweeting.
That's Susan. Sorry, if you could mute.
I muted Bob. It seems to have gone away.
Oh, it was Bob's cell phone? Okay.
Um,
Bob, you're muted just in case you want to talk again soon. Maybe the volume of your computer was competing with the volume of your phone.
All right, you folks can hear me?
We can.
Let's give you a quick update on the Seagate pump station. We do have our conduits underground and in place. We have the new stainless steel cabinet in place. We are in the process of running the wires now. We had our previously had both gate valves and backflow valves replaced. Now we have the 2 new pumps have arrived. We are waiting on the elbows at the bottom where the pumps make the connection. We're going to replace those. One of them has worn through and cracked. We're going to replace them both while we're here. It seems to be moving along pretty good, with the hopes that within the next week or 2 that we will be done with that station. We're still having the part where we have to replace the elbows at the bottom of the wet wells. We're still waiting on a price back, so that may be done a little bit later, but I'd like to get it done before the holidays. So we're moving along pretty good. Any questions?
Nope.
Okay. Update on the I&I study. As you all know, we did get comments back from the DEP. Our consultant turned around responses quite quickly, and with the help with Darren and the gentleman from the sewer department, we were able to get a lot of mapping information that the DEP required and had asked for. So we were able to respond to their letter. On November 24th, it was sent back to them with all the information they had asked for. So now we're just sitting and waiting for their return review on our comments back to their letter. Any questions on that?
No.
Sanford WPCA invoice. We met with, virtually met with Bill Brink and Rudine Bill from the Sanford WPCA. I have to say their invoice was quite clean this year.
That's great.
I told them I appreciated that. I didn't have to dig through the weeds. We got some really good news on the feedback. I think I showed it to you last month, that there's a reduction based on our percentage of flow being lower, the nitrogen credits being higher, their budget being tighter. So I think hopefully this coming year, if the rain holds off like it did previous last year, we'll be in good shape.
Great. Well, we're not off to a very good start, but
well, you know, we're going to get some rain every once in a while. It's
I think rain's a good thing. I'm a fan of rain, quite frankly, although that helps my business.
Yes, it does. Last piece. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
DOT connection. We did get a chance to go over there a couple of weeks ago with their inspection, but we want to do a dye test out there. So since they haven't completed all the connections just yet, I told Anthony Tacone that we will wait till springtime, but we will get over there and dye test those roof drains before we sign off on this. And I think that's probably the only way we're going to do it now. They're not done connecting all the roof drains and everything yet, so we're going to have to wait on that a little bit.
Sounds good. Jumping back to item B for a second, the II studies,
Sure.
I do have 2 questions now that I've thought about it. So once the DEP agrees with the condition of the study, is that what facilitates their co-payment?
We already have their approval on the scope of work. The approval we want from them now is to move to the SSES portion of it, where you do the cammering, you do the testing, you do the smoke tests, you do, and look for the hard connections. What turns that money loose, Craig, is the governor. From what George Hicks had told me back in January, and it still holds true now, they have not moved the funds into the account that the DEP uses to disperse those grants for the Clean Water Fund.
Wow. Now, my understanding is that the state of Connecticut has more money at this point than they thought they were going to have.
Well, hopefully he'll release some of it soon. We do check in with them every couple months, every 4 months or so, we'll check in with George Hicks with the hope that, he can give us some good news. But, I've already prepared for the worst.
Yeah, understood.
We have our scope approved by the DEP right now. The approval that we're looking for right now, their response to us was wanting to know why we focused on the Stony Brook sewer shed. We had answered some of that question already for our friends at Save the Sound. So we just piggybacked on that with some more information, which Darren was help provide through GIS and that information. So.
Okay. And we're coming up on another spring eventually here. Is there any additional flow monitoring, I guess, recommended by Arcadis at this point, or that maybe we want to do based on our knowledge of things at this point?
I mean, I don't want to know if we want to actually jump in there and do it ourselves, but it's a good question to ask them instead of missing another spring. But I'm thinking that a lot of the SSES work that's going to get done needs to be done during certain dry conditions and others during wet conditions. So I'm interested to see what their schedule looks like once we get a positive response back from the DEP to move forward. And we'll work closely with them and push them along.
All right. So
I'm with you. I'd like to do some more identification.
Yeah. Well, maybe ask the question and see what the consultant suggests. Obviously, we don't want to, if we then open up a different section of town, we want to go through a similar process to make sure we're going to get funded, blah, blah, blah. So we don't want to just go out and do it without thoughtfully proceeding. Okay. Anything else on the superintendent's report?
It was a little lean today, but that's all I got for you.
I have something to.
All right, Darren, go ahead.
Very quickly, notice connection fees are not on the agenda. Commission.
Darren, can you stop for a sec? Bob, either we're going to mute you or maybe just you can turn off the speaker on your computer, which is providing some feedback, and just listen through your phone. All right, Darren, go ahead.
Okay. In November, connection fees, the commission said, let's shoot for having town council review town council's version of the connection fee ordinance change in January and possibly schedule a public hearing in February. That didn't make it on the agenda, but town council has the document and is shooting to have that for the commission to review in January. And then we would set up a public hearing in February. That's all.
One other item I would like to discuss, we could do it under superintendents or we could do it under new business, is Bob's concern about property owners taking responsibility for leaks that they know about or have reasonable knowledge or reasonable constructive knowledge of, and how that affects our willingness or unwillingness to grant an appeal. I didn't necessarily want to have this discussion in front of a particular appellant, but perhaps we should talk it out for at least a few minutes. So can I have a motion to go into new business?
Before you do that, can I have 1 second? I just have a question.
Yes, sir.
Last month, I watched the recordings and the part during the superintendent's report where you asked about Corbin Drive came in and out. So could that be explained again? Was there any findings down there for the quick spike every time it rains?
Yeah, where we believe we have a direct connection between our a storm collection device and the sanitary sewer. Has there been any follow-up on that?
The answer, or do we know what the connection is? A roof drain, storm sewer?
I will. I'll say that we sent our guys out there, Bob, to inspect and do some pre-storm measuring of invert flow. upstream of the manhole where everything comes together on Corbin Drive. Pre-storm and post-storm, there was no significant change that they could notice. But what we did find was at the manhole that we had opened to look at, we had some heavy inflow coming around the inlet pipe into our manhole and into our sewer system.
So it appeared to be a direct groundwater flow into the sanitary sewer manhole at the manhole.
That's what it appeared to the guys as what we had found.
So is that
doesn't mean there's not a direct connection. It just means we couldn't identify it by the method that we used, but we did identify some other issues at that location.
So are we putting
and that situation and the timing jive with each other?
That's the part that's a little, it's undetermined, if you will, Bob. You know, because we got a really good quick peak out of it. So unless there's some type of storm line that's running along the sanitary sewer and pushing that water into that manhole, I was going to assume that's groundwater, and we just didn't find the direct connect yet.
Okay, thank you.
I have a motion, new business, Craig?
Sure, yeah, just on that. So are we proceeding with trying to fix that now, or are we waiting to kind of put that into the larger SSES review?
I think it'll be part of the SS review, and I would assume it's going to be one of the first areas that we go after. But you know what's going on down there right now. They're going to relocate that sanitary sewer. So I don't know if we want to spend money on that section at all. So I have to get a schedule out of Mr. Genovese to see where he's going, if and when he's going to do it.
Yeah, got it.
I'm assuming it's next spring he'll before he goes in there.
Got it. So it's a part of some of the proposed work that has to happen down there anyway.
Correct.
Okay. Yes, Reese. Motion to go into new business. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say something.
Aye.
All right, that sounds like we're in new business. So, Bob, you brought this up in the past and brought it up again today, which is that we need to be judicious in our allowance of appeals when it seems as though the appellant has had reasonable and constructive notice and/or time to remedy a leak or illicit discharge, which I think I generally agree with that, but there is black and white, and there is 99 shades of gray in between. And so it still comes down to a case-by-case call of whether or not we feel it was an overt discharge or an unknown discharge. I do think that, you know, all the incentives are there for someone to correct. You know, they pay huge Quarry and Water Company bills. They get those monthly. Unfortunately, they don't get their sewer bills but yearly. So it's hard from just the sewer bill to know that they've got an issue. It would have to be someone picking it up on the water bill, which does come monthly. So I don't know. Bob, did you have anything else to add?
Yeah, I mean, the two situations today, one was a matter of opinion because of whether or not you believe that he should be able to put 100 and whatever thousand gallons down in the drain for his safety and not be responsible for any of it. And the other one is if it's a sink that's leaking, my knowledge and your knowledge would tell us that it's visible and was ignored because of lack of consequences. And I don't think that our constituents, clients, customers, whatever you want to refer to them as, realize that clean water and dirty water, clean water, gray water, black water, it's all the same. And I really don't agree with just absolving them when they come in front of us and say mea culpa, mea culpa. When it's visible, I just can't do it.
This is another situation where building owner versus tenant comes into play,
Yep.
right? Which we've talked about on the wipes and so forth side, that there can be a gap between a tenant caring if they're not paying the water bill or sewer bill. Any other comments on this particular concern?
No, I think it's important that each situation is unique and each set of facts is presented in a way that we can make those decisions on a case-by-case basis, sometimes with compassion, sometimes with, more forensic science behind it. But I thought it was great, Craig, that in that case, you asked the building owner, hey, you got to do a little more. It still seems really high, and it still seems high. And maybe sub-metering for tenants, as an owner of a property would be the way they could pass that cost along to the irresponsible party through the lease. Again, as the costs go up, people be more motivated to do that. But I think it's partly, it's our role to see each one as a unique application rather than setting standards that, they won't be heard, basically.
Susan, any thoughts?
Well, I do agree with Bob that the water does go down the drain and we are paying for it. But it seems like that in the case of not wanting a plumber in, that he had a good excuse for why he didn't want to get a plumber in, given the pandemic. And it also seems that if they repeatedly do this, because I've sat here long enough now to see that you guys are a little harder on someone where they've been in here in the past with a similar issue. And I think that's where you really want to tell them, no, you have to pay the whole thing because you knew about this. And the water bills,
one strike, two strike, three strike kind of thing.
yeah. And water bills, my water bill is auto paid, and I don't know how many other people have that happen.
Mine is too.
It's just auto paid, and it's not anything I even noticed, unless it got really large. But because now it's monthly, you might not see it as much because it's
well, the difference between 35 and 55 isn't a big deal until you multiply it by 12 and then get the sewer bill.
Yes, exactly. So I agree with Reese. I like the idea of us being able to adjudicate it on an individual basis.
Peter, any thoughts?
Well, I've heard a lot there, and to a certain extent, when you look at these situations, you find that a lot of times the plumber doesn't find the leak right away, right? So, to a certain extent, the person who has this high bill, if he gets a plumber, he's kind of in a situation, either the plumber fixes or he doesn't, and if he doesn't, we come back as we have just recently and ask for more correction. So I think that's the way to kind of take these things. I think we have to look at each one carefully and make decisions based on that.
And I'll tell you that I tend to trust people. That can be a personality strength and a personality flaw. So when I have someone that's being straight and honest with me and is cooperating and is trying to resolve the issue and do the right thing, I'm probably going to have a tendency to be more likely to grant an appeal in that situation. I give some import to that recognition of a problem that they're trying to solve. So, maybe Bob, I think we all agree with you, but it's really a question of the shades of gray in between black and white. And you may tend to come out on a stricter interpretation of that, and I may tend to come out on a more lenient interpretation of that. But with 5 people needing to vote on it, we'll find something reasonable in the middle from time to time. Any further comment?
Yeah. With the one that was dealing with the pandemic, I didn't want to delve into it. I was staying away from that because if you want to play with shades, there's a lot of information in there that really is touchy. I mean, he said that they checked it the second time in January. The pandemic was after the Super Bowl. And I mean, did he live in a bubble? Did no one come in his house? Did he not go to the grocery store? I mean, he has to be realistic.
Well, I mean, if you have a plumber check something in late January and it doesn't yet show up in that February bill, you got to wait for the March bill from Aquarian to see if it made a reaction. And then it was March.
These were toilets that were significantly leaking. It was somewhere in the area of 15,000 gallons a month for 7 months. That's over 100,000 gallons. So it's an egregious situation. It's not a small one. He could have turned the toilets off after he found that out. There's a number of things that he could have done. YouTube will tell you almost anything, and it's very easy to change a flapper. So the whole idea of this one just kind of rubs me very much the wrong way. And if you wanted me, if I had to dig into it because it's a case-by-case situation, I would have. But I really didn't want to have to call the individual out.
I guess the other way to say it is inquire for more information.
Well, Bob,
But I mean, this is information that I heard him saying last month when he was talking.
Okay.
I mean, he went to having toilets leaking to using his irrigation system. Sorry, that rubs me the wrong way.
Well, Bob, let's hope he fixed it.
You have to be environmentally conscious. Sorry, Susan?
I said, let's hope he fixed it, because otherwise when he comes back, we're in charge of the whole amount. He needs to get the work done. I don't trust people, having done land use for many years. I don't trust people anymore. I'm much more jaded than Craig. So I'm willing to give someone the benefit of the doubt the first time, but that's it.
Yeah, but the first time was 7 months. I mean, it was from January to August.
I meant the first time he's coming in for the appeal. I wouldn't know how to change a flapper. I would need a plumber.
I mean, basically, I looked at it quickly, and it was 20 CCF a month, which to us is $130 a month. And he absorbed none of that. And I have a problem with him absorbing none of it.
Well, then I think
I understand it's spread over 5,500 customers, but what if we had 100 of those situations instead of one?
Hey, Bob, what if we just changed the way we thought about it? There's almost like a threshold, all or nothing thing going on now. Either you get the full appeal or you don't. But what if we had 75% discount, 50% discount on the water?
Absolutely.
You know, something like that.
Alluding to.
All right,
so they
maybe
have
we
skin in
should
the game.
consider that.
Well, that would be for
I mean,
Bob to make a different recommendation than what was made. And then we would decide whether or not we are, as the rest of the commission, decide whether or not we agree with Bob's recommendation, which would be not to charge him the full amount, but to charge him some portion of it. And I would actually probably be in Bob's camp there, because I do appreciate the fact that-
I would too. Yeah, I would too, because in some cases there are unique circumstances. Like one of the cases tonight was, oh my God, you feel horrible for their family, and that's a unique situation. And but maybe throw that out there, Bob. We'll do the math, we'll look at it, and the full appeal would be X, and say, hey, we're going to meet you halfway. We're going to give you 50% off, but we had to treat that water, so we're going to split it with you, or 75% or something like that. I think that's what you're talking about, right?
yes.
I agree.
I like it.
I mean, in essence, the second situation, which you alluded to me, it was almost a leak that was out of sight, out of mind, if you kind of excuse my pun on words there.
That goes to the uniqueness. But maybe rather than getting upset that it's, you blood on your hands, you horrible person, everyone's trying to live their lives and going 100 miles an hour, and they're not always as cognizant of these things as we would be, or as frugal for that matter. So maybe that's the way we approach it. We just look at it and say, we think you're at least half responsible for this, or should have been, and we'll give you a credit of half, and not all of it. You own it, and see how that reacts. See what kind of equity that drives later on.
I'm good with that.
Depending again on the specifics of the situation.
Absolutely.
On a side note, I mean, we've only seen 14 appeals, I think, in the last two meetings. So hopefully that means that we're getting better.
And people are getting better.
Yeah, that's good. That's a pretty low number for sending out. How many bills do we send out?
How long have they been sending out
5,500
the water company?
What's that, Peter?
How long have they been sending out monthly bills for the water company?
A few years.
Yeah, 4 years at least. Yeah, 3 years, you think?
4 years. Yeah.
It's been a while.
Well, it takes people a long time to start, getting used to them, I suppose.
Yeah, no, I think it's. I think it's good that they do. Again, people at least have an opportunity to see situations earlier. I know theoretically the water company is supposed to. I think they have some algorithms that search for anomalies in accounts and notify people, but that doesn't always work either.
Also depends on the thresholds that they have set in those computer algorithms.
Yeah. All right. Any other new business?
Yeah, just one other quick thing. You guys talked about the letter last month, and I thought it was a great idea to change it up because if it's the same thing, people tend to ignore it. I had a suggestion. Just think of it. Just think about it. We can talk about it next month. But you were talking about switching it up so it was just a letter. I would take that a little bit further and switch it up so that basically it was only our two most important things were on it. And that would be the wipes and all the things that people would put through a garbage disposal. And then say that there's a full list on the DPW website, but just put those two in bold letters, emphasize that, and hope that they actually look at that much.
I love the idea of dumbing it down to headlines because that's the only amount of time that we'll usually get people to pay attention. What is your concern about garbage disposals? I know that when we do septic systems,
a lot of the items that are on that list are things that people put through a garbage disposal. So they think that putting it through a garbage disposal makes it all well and good, which it doesn't.
All right, so your basic, as we get closer to needing to finalize that, your thought is a version that keeps it as simple as possible and then refers them to how to find more information.
Yeah, I mean, basically, I just wanted to throw the idea out there and let everybody think about it. That's the main gist of my statement.
Sounds good. Any other new business?
I'm done.
It looks like we're on item number 11 now.
Peter,
Well, I
Peter?
make a motion to it.
Yeah, and your official title is the chairman of adjournment. All right, all those in favor say aye.
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 Happy holidays, everyone.
Merry
Yeah.
Christmas.
Yeah, I guess
Take
we won't
care.
see you till the new year. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
See you next year.
And you can stop recording now.
Thank you.